Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe as well. My name is Hina Kamra, and the topic for today's webinar is product lifecycle. Um, a little introduction about me. I have over 11 years of work experience in digital payments, fintech, e-commerce, and technology companies with Amazon and Naspers. And currently, I am working with Amazon as a senior product manager and based in Dubai. Moving on with today's webinar. So what does product lifecycle mean? A product lifecycle is basically an amount of time that a product spends in the market right from the birth, which is inception, to decline or the extension of the product. A product lifecycle directly correlates with the time, sales, and growth spent at each and every stage of the product lifecycle. Usually, companies utilize product lifecycle and to analyze and to maintain their product's age and to address the changing needs of their customers, developing technologies or competition. Let's move on and see what are the main product lifecycle stages. There are 5 main stages. First is product development, then introduction, then growth, maturity, decline, and the product extension. We will go into each and every stage in detail in the next slide. The first one is the product development. This is the first stage of a product lifecycle. This stage is all about identifying customer needs, problems, and carrying out the market research, test and validate assumptions, and competitor analysis. These activities will actually give an idea to the product leaders or to the company to identify the potential of the product. And it also supports building up the business case and to validate the assumptions in the market. Post these activities, products are usually built, and some of the characteristics of product development stage are: the first one is the customer expectation, where usually companies spend time in assessing what the customer problem or needs are. And second is the product strategies being built and laid out and build roadmaps, prototypes, and does the testing in the market. At this stage of the product life cycle, the product development time is very high because most of the time is spent either into the research or into the tech development of the product. And due to that, the investment costs are very high and product is not launched yet in the market. Hence, the revenue stream is absolutely zero. Once the product development cycle is complete, the first stage is complete, it is ready to go into the second stage, which is called as introduction stage. At this stage, a product is launched in the market. Companies spend time and invest in building customer awareness, spends money in marketing, promotion, and focuses on the placement of the product. Companies focuses on pricing strategy, mainly around whether it is skimming or penetration, build customer awareness, and brand building. Usually sales is slow at this stage just because the product has just landed in the market and customers are getting to know more about the product. At this stage, the cost of marketing, advertisement, and distribution are usually very high. Now let's take an example of the product life cycle of the introduction stage. Electric cars is one of them as an example, which has just got introduced into the market. Companies are either in the process of launching or introducing their electric cars in the market. Now, some might say that electric cars are beyond introduction stage. However, this completely depends at which geography is it. And in some markets, electric cars are actually more than introduction and are in growth stage. Moving on with the next stage, which is growth. If the product is successful, it then moves on to the growth stage. This is characterized by growing demand, an increase in production and expansion. At this stage, demand becomes to accelerate as the size of the total market expands and rapid success is being seen. Production and distribution are ramped up, sales and high-end profit are at an increasing speed. Competition is usually high at this stage, which usually leads to price decrease. Technology gets cheaper, and apart from that, the main focus for the company remains in maintaining the quality of the product, and adding new features is a key. Let's take an example of the growth stage. I would say AirPods fits the best here. Wireless earphones have been in the market for a few years now, and Apple AirPods have significantly gained customer traction. The sales and the revenue for the company are high. So Apple AirPods, I would qualify in a growth stage. Moving on with the next stage, which is maturity. At this point, the market has started become saturated and there are too many competitors in the market. Companies will attempt to keep the product alive at this stage as much as possible. Some of the characteristics of maturity stage is, the first one is that the profit margin decreases. The market becomes very competitive as there are too many competitors in the market, and they usually produce their own versions of the product. And at this stage, marketing team focuses on creating a differentiating factor rather than creating an awareness. At this stage, my recommendation is for the companies and the product leaders and managers is to go back to the product development stage, see what innovation needs to be added to the product, what new feature needs to be added, and are the customer needs getting changing, or if there are new problem sets to be solved for the product. For the maturity stage, TV cable connection fits best as an example. And I'm pretty sure that if you have recently moved or rented a new place, I'm sure you must have not signed up for the cable connection versus have gone for probably Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu, as these companies or these streams, online streams have fits the best as your requirement. After the maturity stage comes the decline stage. This is where actually the sales of the products will decline. This is mainly due to the changing in customer needs, trends, technological advances, innovation, and consumption, which has completely been changed. And of course, the competition also at this stage. At this stage, there is significant drop in revenue and sales. Product loses customer appeal. Customers are no longer interested in the product. Sales growth becomes negative, profit declines, and distribution channel suddenly slows down. The marketing is at decline stages, often minimal or targeted at only loyal customers, and the prices are reduced. Usually product will get retired unless the companies decide to redesign themselves and reinvent themselves and come in back to the market. And I would take typewriters as the best and a classic example for this. I mean, typewriters were introduced somewhere in 19th century, and now in 20th century, typewriters have become absolutely outdated. Nobody uses typewriters. This is primarily due to the introduction or the latest technologies such as laptops and smartphones and tablets, which has caused the demand for typewriters to be drastically fall down. Between the decline and between maturity and the decline stage comes the product extension. This is when a product is on decline stage, companies can decide either they would want to withdraw completely from the market, or they would want to reinvent themselves and come back. This is likely due to the product is too expensive to innovate, or there is no scope for innovation in the market. So then the companies can decide to either go to a decline stage or reinvent themselves in a product extension. Usually companies at this stage find new use cases to satisfy customer growing requirements and need. They look for diversification. They go into new markets and new geographies, and they completely change the product design and packaging. Now, we've come to the end of the presentation, and I would like to conclude the presentation by saying that to improve the profitability in market positioning, product leaders need to use appropriate strategies in each and every product life cycle. And thank you, everyone. I really hope that this webinar has added some value to you in understanding what is product life cycle. Thank you so much.